Love in need of love today. Hate's going round, breaking many hearts. Don't you know that? Stop it, please, before it's gone too far. All right, that's a StevieWonder song, okay? Love's in need of love. Now, this song I'm not as familiar with in regards to the words, but I've heard the song many a times, and I believe that this song is more suitable for what it is that we have been experiencing. In our world, people have become heartless, not looking at other people, not seeing another person's side, not listening to another person's perspective. If one suffers, we all suffer. If we're going to place the blame on someone else, we also have to take some of the blame for ourselves. People going hungry, people homeless, people not being heard. If you see the people who have been losing their minds recently, some of it due to some of the bad choices that they've made, yes. But a mother's heart, a mother will pray with her whole heart to make sure that you are safe. A mother's love, when you lose your mother, you become a grown-up for sure. Because now it's not like you have that same vulnerable perspective. Your mother sees your side when no one else sees it. You know, my experience with my mother was not the same as a lot of other people because we had been separated for such a long period of time. And then with some of my questions, I questioned if she was my mother. An aunt who said she was my mother as well, who never showed love. It reminds me of Tina Turner when she said that her mother, she took good care of her mother, but she knew her mother did not love her. Do you have any idea what that must feel like to be unloved? It is not a good feeling. Some people know this all too familiar with this subject matter. But this is the reason why I'm so blessed and honored to know God. And I don't know if I can say honored because people would look at that in a totally different perspective. They might take it wrongly. What I will say is I'm thankful for a closer relationship, a closer walk with God is a song that we sang in church growing up. I remember one time running away from home because I stayed out past curfew, past the lights that came on in the street, and I knew I was going to get it. And as I moved closer to the house, my brother came. He said, "Ooh, you're going to get it. She's looking for you." So I said, "I'm going to the store." And when I went into that store, I went out. I left that store and went to one of my aunt's house. When I went to my aunt's house, I had no idea that she and my mother had a beef that was never explained to me. My mother never told. She kept it all. And with her keeping it all, because she did not want us to turn against the other person, she wanted us to know them firsthand by their own behavior. And I didn't know. So it was like I went to the enemy's home and did not have any idea. My aunt had words about my mother. And I'm like, wow, I went to that house. So finally my brother came back. And this time my mother told him, "You tell her to come back home that, we'll talk about it, My brother said just the opposite. He said, "Man, she really after you now." And it scared me even more. And I just knew she was going to get me. And I said, "Man, I'm not going back there. I'm not." Till finally, I don't know what happened as to how I ended up going. Oh, my aunt said she could not keep me because she knew that she was going to have issues with my mother. So I ended up going back. It was the longest walk ever to T-Bot Avenue in the Bronx. And when I got there, she held me and she apologized. She said, "I had no idea that you would be this afraid of me." You see, again, my grandmother was my first mother because I didn't know that was not my mother. So when you have unhealed issues that you're going through, and then you get older, those situations don't help themselves. You have to help them. You have to talk about it. You have to live and deal with it so that you can persevere. There's a lot of people who came against others because they did not know love. All they knew is growing up poor and wanting so much. And then the colorism issue, where people feel like this person's light-skinned, so they got a problem with me. When in all honesty, we're all facing the same issues. Until they are healed, this is what we will have to deal with. We have to go through a healing process. Our whole country is going through a healing process right now, based upon us turning against each other, us voting for people and people not in agreement with our vote and turning against us, not wanting to talk to us. People who were friends now fighting all because of an election. When the deeper matter, or should I say the deeper situation, is beyond just a presidential election. You see, we start at the basics, learning to love yourself, learning to forgive yourself and others, learning how to move forward in peace. You know, a lot of us have been through a lot. Since COVID, before COVID, after COVID, we're all going through our own transitions. And with it, we must begin to heal, looking in the mirror and forgiving yourself. Because you talk to yourself worse than you would want anyone else to talk to you. And you don't realize it because you've been doing it for so long. Now it's time. It's time to begin the process of talking to yourself and telling yourself nice things. How proud you are that you got through this day without hurting another person's feelings. How happy you are that you were able to see another day and how God brought you through it. We are all going through our own journeys. And it's important that we see some of these things and we learn how to heal from them. You see, my family has been in a situation for a period of time, and although sometimes people do not want to hear what you have to say, they have to know what is right. And love is right. Love is the right thing to do. Making a better choice. Admitting it so that we can move forward. Loving yourself through the journey. Forgiving yourself, forgiving others. You see, this hasn't been easy for any of us. But again, I would like people to learn from the mistakes so that no one else has to endure the same thing. God bless our families and help us to be able to grow together and learn together and move forward. But what if? What if we've sat too long? What if we need to move forward and we need to begin that process now? It's important that somebody hear it so that they can forgive, so that they can grow, they can persevere through it now, so that they don't have to worry about the torture and the pain of it later. Money, they say, is the root of all evil, but it is the people who make the choices with the money. People's rent going up, and now they have no place to go. People piling up in one household and trying to get along with each other. I lived with a person who I thought was my cousin in a house where we all shared space. And no, we didn't all see eye to eye. And some of us were doing some frivolous things behind the scenes, and it's okay. Because God saw it and God is going to fix the problem. But you must begin to fix the problem within yourself. If you come up with a plan to poison another individual for insurance money, then all you were in it was for money when you said that you needed someone to help pay the rent so that everyone could live comfortably. A lot has happened, and a lot of forgiveness is happening. But we must begin the process of what true love is, loving ourselves and others, and being able to live and grow through this process. Because if we don't learn from it, how are we supposed to grow from it and be better people? It is so lovely being you, and I hope that you've learned and that you're growing through this process. Thank you.